I think lots of people now don't feel the need to come out. They know that if they were to bring someone round of the same sex, it wouldn't be like surprising.
I'm here with Michael, who is Gen X, and I'm here with Will, who's Gen Z. I'm Samuel, and I have the bank balance of a Gen Z and the hairline of a Gen X, making me a millennial. Today, we are here to talk about the evolution of gay life. It seems almost impossible to imagine a time before the gay dating apps, but how did gay men meet each other in times gone by?
Well, I suppose my reference point would be the sort of 1990s, not the 1890s, Will. And I suppose the idea was then, it was either in person, so, you know, you'd go to gay bars, gay clubs. It would be for a lot of sort of phone dating, so you'd phone people up on the landline. And so it's could be quite a long-winded process. So, you know, you didn't really have any idea what that person would look like.
I'm interested in this idea of like phone dating, because it just seems like Grindr, but just a long process. Like you're still getting a situation where someone arrives at your door and you're like, oh, you sounded better on paper.
Yeah, I soon learned that to keep the actual exchanges brief and to actually meet the person, if you like the sound of them, because with phones, you pick up an idea of what someone is like, and actually the reality can be quite different from how they appeared on the phone.
So I went to my local library and I fished out some old issues of Gay Times from, this is 1984.
Oh.
So this is...
You might see my advert in there.
Are you...
Yeah, I am, yeah.
Well built.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I could reunite you with your work. Yeah, so I thought we could kind of discuss some of these. I think they're like and unlike Grindr, actually. I don't know if you've ever seen anything like these before.
Yeah, I mean, I've never like studied them, but I know what they are.
Not a scholar of
yeah,
the
no,
personality.
I wish I could be a scholar of gay history past, but unfortunately not.
Okay, let me read you this one and see what you think about it, okay? So, Young Prefect is the title. 25, slim, clean-shaven, own well-equipped study in central London. Seeks pupils 21 to 28 needing instruction. Your fantasy ritual enacted by expert historian. Limits respected. Discretion assured. Fun and possibly disco afterwards if mutually interested. Sounds quite good, doesn't it?
But if that's paid for by the word, they are rich.
That's 45p a word plus £4 for post office box
Yeah,
number.
you're looking at over £10. They're out of my league.
Let me read you this one as well, just because I would love someone to help me decode this, okay? So the headline is 8-inch grip. Grip. I can't believe I just did that on camera. So 8-inch grip seeks younger crunchy same into varied DIY games.
That was my advert.
Oh, you can explain what it means.
Into very DIY games.
Into varied DIY games. There's a lot of DIY, which I think is either... I don't know. It's either putting up shelves or it's, you know,
some
not
sort of changing rooms.
Yeah, I'm trying varied DIY games. What could that entail?
Does that imply the use of, like, you know, toolbox equipment?
Yeah.
Should we say that sort of thing of like sort of, you know, wrenches and...
Oh yeah, must be
sort of
wrenches.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, these are kind of the funny ones, but what was interesting is there's some things that kind of never change. So good-looking, non-effeminate 35-year-old bisexual with free time during weekdays and evenings wants to visit guys anywhere in Greater London, and then the dick pic of its time will send undraped photo to all sensible replies.
Undraped.
That's
fantastic.
Yeah, it's nice,
it's from the pen of someone, isn't it?
Would you like to receive a picture of my penis? No. Would you like to receive a picture of me undraped? Yes. Oh yeah, that sounds lovely.
Interestingly,
about the effeminate speaking, I actually called up someone on a that I'd seen on the Lonely Hearts, left a message, and we spoke a few times, and then I saw an advert again, which I thought, oh, that sounds interesting, I'll give them a call. Realised it was the same person that I'd phoned before, but at the end of it, they said, oh no, John Inman types, who's from Are You Being Served many moons ago, like quite a camp. So I thought, he's having a dig at me there. So I think, yes,
That's
I know.
After you've spoken to him?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So he then adjusted what he said for future.
Did you cost him another £1 or so?
Precisely.
I think
the
you've
revenge is
won
mine.
Does that stuff still exist on Grindr and other gay dating apps?
I think that it's phasing out, but it's not eliminated. It definitely still exists, and you get lots of faceless profile stills. The no camp thing, like no effeminate thing, baffles me. It like absolutely baffles me, because how can you present yourself as someone who's very like masculine and someone who's really like not feminine and then like men?
Yes.
Like I don't understand how those two things, like obviously you can be whoever you want, but you like to separate those two things as two really distinct things, like just doesn't make sense in my mind. Like,
No.
you're going to like men, and you can do that in a masculine way, but to just outright rule everybody who's like feminine and not masculine as like unattractive is sad.
Yeah.
Will, I find your kind of generation fascinating in this way, because you are the kind of first ones to have kind of, lived gay lives in a world where PrEP has always existed. Pre-exposure prophylaxis, the kind of a pill you can take to kind of prevent yourself from getting HIV. Are things like HIV/AIDS still things that you kind of think about, or is that now, thanks to the kind of progress in medicine, kind of a thing of the past?
I think I like mostly it's something that's of the past, really. I think, like I said, with PrEP, it's like a really amazing, easy tool that's like, for the most part, quite accessible. There's some people that still need to like destigmatize it, and there's some people that still don't understand to kind of make a sweeping statement. Yeah, it's mostly of the past.
What was it like growing up in that kind of time in the 90s where, there were medicines were coming in, and obviously it wasn't only gay men who were facing these issues, but certainly, there was, people were dying. Like, what was that like?
It was a worrying time. One, because of the disease itself, which really, when I first found out about it, didn't have a cure, didn't have anything that you could sort of work with any drugs. And also there was so much of propaganda about it, sort of in a negative sense about, it's a curse from God, or it's to show gay men their ways.
I wonder, Michael, who was the first gay person that you remember seeing on TV?
I suppose it was the likes of John Inman, Danny LaRue, quite Larry Grayson, so quite sort of, I don't want to use the word obvious, but sort of known gays, if you like. I suppose they're almost sort of caricatures of what a gay person would be. So normally quite effeminate, quite sort of high-pitched voice. Relatable and unrelatable at the same time in a way, because you related to them. So I saw the likes of John Inman and thought, oh yeah, I can see myself in him. But then also, I didn't necessarily see someone like him amongst my friends.
Phone ads that you mentioned earlier, the fact that someone in the gay community could be like, I don't want this type of person, means that obviously, that had an effect on them. Will, who was the first gay person you can remember seeing on TV?
I can't remember. Like, RuPaul's Drag Race has obviously done so much for the queer community. Like, I actually got introduced to it to my sister, who's straight. My sister was watching it, and that's how I got into it. So it was definitely an introduction to like drag for me. But yeah, I kind of already recognized who I was at that point. I don't think I'd come out, so I think it was an interesting thing to like, I was like connecting with them and understanding lots of the stories and stuff, but the idea at that point of telling my family was like petrifying.
And how long after that was it when you came out?
Probably like 2 years. So I came out when I was 16, and my dad was dropping me off somewhere, and he was driving, and I told him as he was like pulling up to drop me off, and he looked at me and he went, I think we knew that, really, didn't we, Will? So I was very fortunate. It was very easy for me. My dad would have friends over, and I'd come into the kitchen to get a glass of water, and I'd get like a roar of like 40-something-year-old men being like, congrats on being gay, Will! And I'd be like, oh my God. So yeah, it was funny.
It's only now that we're getting I Kissed a Boy, the first kind of gay dating show. I mean, what does that mean to you as kind of gay men who grew up watching TV?
I've always said that a gay dating show would be the most amazing thing to watch, because it will be very heightened. We deserve to have our stories told, and they're interesting to watch and they're valid. So.
And Michael, growing up, could you ever imagine a world in which there would be kind of 10 men kind of falling in love on screen?
In a way, I'm shocked that we haven't had it sooner, but I'm so glad that we do. And I just look forward to sort of watching it, seeing what the sort of different characters they have, and also just being grateful that I'm not on the dating scene anymore.
Well, if you're excited for I Kissed a Boy, you can watch it now on BBC Three and BBC iPlayer.